help me reach 1,000 subscribers. I had always believed that the smallest expressions of care held the greatest meaning. A note tucked into her purse without her noticing, a cup of coffee prepared exactly as she liked it, a soft good morning whispered while she was still half asleep. These were my ways of speaking love. I thought she noticed. I thought she valued it. For years, I poured myself into these quiet gestures, never expecting grand declarations or sweeping displays. To me, love was a steady, consistent current, unpretentious yet powerful. I believed that sincerity alone would be enough. But I had been wrong. It began on an ordinary evening, after a dinner that had passed without incident. I had brought home a bouquet of her favorite flowers, something I had done countless times before, hoping to brighten her evening. I expected a smile, a small expression of gratitude. Instead, she laughed, and it was not warm, it was sharp, cutting. "Stop trying to be romantic," she said, her voice cold and rehearsed. "It's pathetic." The word struck me like a rock thrown into still water, sending waves of disbelief and hurt through me. I set the flowers on the counter with careful hands, steady outwardly, though inside a storm churned. I could have argued. I could have tried to justify each gesture, each act that had come from a place of genuine love. But I didn't. I simply stood there, silent, letting the words settle around me. The truth was undeniable. This was not the marriage I had thought I had. The warmth, the connection, the quiet understanding we had shared, gone. Replaced by disdain, by contempt, by a performance of togetherness neither of us truly believed in. I realized then that love cannot thrive in a home poisoned by indifference. It cannot flourish when one person's heart is treated like a task, a duty, or worse, a source of mockery. The following days passed in a blur of routine and quiet. She moved through the house as though nothing had changed, effortless in her performance, while I felt every gesture, every word, every forced smile as heavy as stones. I tried to remind myself of the good times, the vacations, the late-night conversations, the small moments where I thought our love was genuine. But even those memories now felt hollow, like scenes from a play staged for someone else's amusement. One evening, I sat alone in the living room, nursing a cup of coffee, when she came up to me hesitantly. "Do you even care about us anymore?" she asked, her voice revealing a crack of vulnerability that was rare for her. I looked at her, truly looked, and saw not the woman I had fallen in love with, but someone distant, hardened, and unreachable. My gestures, my efforts, they were not appreciated. They were ridiculed. The foundation of what we had, such as it was, had quietly crumbled under the weight of contempt and indifference. I didn't reply immediately. I didn't shout or beg for her to see me differently. I simply said, "I've been trying to reach you, but it seems I've been alone in this for a long time." My voice was calm, measured, but the words carried a quiet finality. I understood then that some battles are not meant to be fought, and some hearts are not worth the effort of persuasion. Love, I realized, cannot exist without respect. By the time she went to bed that night, I had made my decision. I would no longer play a part in a charade of marriage, a performance of commitment we no longer wanted. If this marriage was a lie, I would no longer pretend. The next morning I packed my things with deliberate calm, not out of anger or vengeance, but out of a clear resolve to reclaim myself from a life that no longer felt like mine. She slept, unaware of the determination that had settled in me. Without a word, I walked out the door for the last time. No confrontation, no shouting, no tears, just a serene understanding that some endings are essential for survival and self-preservation. As I stepped outside, the house that had felt suffocating, heavy with unspoken grievances, seemed smaller, emptier, but not sad. It was liberating. Years of bending, sacrificing, and suppressing my own needs for a relationship that no longer existed could now be devoted to myself, to friends, to hobbies, to ambitions I had long neglected. Days became weeks. She eventually reached out, her messages full of excuses, apologies, and tentative confessions. I didn't respond. Reconciliation was impossible, not because I refused, but because the foundation of trust and respect had been destroyed long ago. My dignity, my self-respect, my peace were non-negotiable. Looking back, I understood the lesson I had been trying to learn all along. Love is not measured by gestures or performances. It is measured by mutual respect, genuine care, and shared effort. When those elements vanish, No amount of flowers, notes, or thoughtful acts can fill the emptiness. I had tried. I had given everything. And in doing so, I had exposed a truth she refused to see.